Hey guys, so when I talk about how to get your cats to a veterinary office, I'm going to tell you what to do versus what not to do. What you don't do is what I did this morning. Wait until the day you're going in to bring out the carriers, to get them cleaned up, to get the towels in there, those kinds of things. I didn't have feel away. I had run out. I didn't have gabapentin. Thought I did. To get, gabapentin being a mild sedative to help relax them on the way, which is a part of fear-free, something I'm super passionate about. And yet, I didn't do it. Now, it went amazingly well. The trip went well. It was over an hour. And again, I'd much rather, have had the feel away and the gabapentin. Had the carriers out a couple of days ago, but we had just gotten back into town from being gone. So, having said that, I'm thinking the worst, because the reason that we had to go on this trip was because we got back home and Moo, our black and white cat, wasn't eating. And she would go to the bowl aggressively, just like she always does. But then when she started chewing, you could tell she was in extreme pain, and she would almost gag, not vomiting, not regurgitating, very different, and would run from the bowl like the bowl was hurting her. And so that's something called learned aversion. Once they attach a feeling and emotion and pain with eating, sometimes it's very difficult to get them eating again. So anyway, I start thinking the worst. Veterinarians do the same thing that you do. So we get her, we get both of them in the car. We traveled. We get the full lab work, by the way. And you need to make sure that you're getting a CBC chemistry, full chemistry. It's better if it goes out than is run in-house, because you get much more information. You have to wait 24 hours, but it's much, much better. Get a urinalysis. Make sure that you're getting urine done. If you don't get a urinalysis, you're missing a big part of that information that you're trying to kind of get a baseline for. And that is, are we losing protein in the urine? Their urine may be fine in the sense of not an infection, but it doesn't mean that the concentration's where it needs to be, that the protein levels are where it need to be. There could be crystalluria in there that you're not aware of. So this is all a big part of that, particularly the senior screen. And in our case, because we have an FIV cat at home, I wanted to make sure Moo was tested for FIV, because there's a fair chance that now she has FIV, which is a communicable condition, disease. It's a virus, sort of like it's very much like HIV, AIDS in humans. So we get her in there. Now, the best thing that we could have done was open up the cages, let them wander around. There was feel away in the room, thankfully, so I sprayed a little bit of that on the towel that they had in the room. Let them walk around for a few minutes, let them get their bearings. They actually started on their own, face rubbing against me, rubbing against the things in the room, which is a really good sign. So giving them that opportunity to acclimate to the space that they're in. It can be a game changer for cats. It really can. So once we did that, we were able to get the lab work done, and on both cats. Moo's a little bit tougher, and so she actually had to have a wrap to get hers done. That's okay. It keeps her safe. It keeps everybody else safe, and it's quicker. It gets done. Everything gets done much quicker that way. I'm actually relieved, because my niece did an exceptional job on the physical exam, and we found out that there was some stomatitis in her mouth. I was thinking kidney disease. By the way, that's another thing that can cause bad breath, along with periodontal disease and stomatitis, diabetes. I'm thinking the worst. But thankfully, this is something that, if the lab work looks good, which I'm hoping that it will, that we can treat. We can treat this conservatively. And we jumped on it early. jump on it early. The longer you wait, stomatitis gets worse and worse and worse over time. And it is one of the most painful things that a cat can go through, okay? So I just wanted to share with you what was going on today, and that we as veterinarians have the same experiences that you do in every way, every shape, all the emotions, they're all there, and I'm giving you permission. But don't assume that it's just old age. Don't assume that they'll, quote, get over it or get beyond it. Get them checked, okay? I'm so glad that we did this right away today.